Okay, welcome back. So far, we have built a very solid understanding of Python programming language. Now, we are going to understand what exactly variables and data types in Python. So, throughout our Python program, we create lot of variables, and these variables are nothing but data stored in memory location. To be precise, why do we store data in memory location? Because we want to manipulate it throughout the program. Let us say you want to change something or somebody's name and convert it to uppercase. This is going to be very really simple program which will take the name as input and convert the lowercase character to uppercase character, and then finally provide the output as all uppercase characters. In order to run this program, it will have to first load it to into the memory. Once the program is loaded into the memory, which is also called as RAM, the random access memory, it is executed line by line. During the process of line by line execution, you can create lot of variables. For example, you can create a variable of type string in order to store the name or piece of text. You can also create another variable with the data type as integer where you will store, let us say, somebody's age. You can also have the floating point data type where you can going to store the somebody's GPA. A variable is created the moment you assign a value to it throughout the assignment operator. Equal to is an assignment operator in Python. We are going to see how exactly these things will work in our computer screen. Let us create a folder called as a variables. I will just create a folder first. This is
The sixth video style game variables. And what is that? Data type. Data types. Okay, I will create a file main.py. Okay, Python file is created now.
so let us say age equal to 30. Okay, what is this 30? 30 is an integer. Okay, now the name of the variable is age and the 30 is the value stored inside the variable. So now this is like very similar to the container that we have in our kitchens. There is a container which used to store rice. There is a container which used to store the sugar. There is another container which is used to store the coffee. And you can have multiple container in the kitchen which will store the multiple things. In this case, age is storing 30, which is a number. The data type of this variable is integer. Now let us say I want to store my name as well. In order to do that, I will say name equal to check. You can see here I use the double quote which to indicate this is a string, and I will say Jack. Now looking at this value, I can tell that yes, this is a string. Looking at this value, I can tell this is an integer, and maybe I can give example for floating number also. GPA maybe 9.81. So this is a floating number now. This is how you create different types of variables in Python. Now there are some rules set by the language. What exactly are those rules? Those are the rules which specify what kind of characters your variables can contain. And these rules are part of syntax of Python programming language. I am going to add notes to these files so that it is easy for you to revise later on. Before we discuss the rules, let me tell you that Python is a dynamically typed language, which means you don't have to explicitly specify which data type a particular variable name contains. In this case, we don't have to tell this is an integer, and in similar way, we don't have to tell this is a string, and also we don't have to tell that GPA is a floating number. Python automatically looks at the value and figure out that is the floating number, and this is the string, and this is the integer. Statically typed language like C need an explicit declaration of whether a variable is an integer, floating number, or character. Now, Python programming language being dynamic and very convenient to work with because of the data types is automatically inferred. Let's now talk about rules of defining variables in Python. Okay, I'm going to copy some notes. Let's now talk about the rules of defining variables in Python. The first rule says the variable's name contains letters, numbers, and underscore. Second rule says variable name must start with the letter or underscore. Let's take an example, like you can have A to Z uppercase, A to Z lowercase, or an underscore as the variable name, but they cannot start with a number. You can start with A to Z, you can start with underscore, you can also start with petal A to Z, but not with the number. We are going to see some example for that, so don't worry. The third rule says that variable names are case sensitive. Age and capital H are two different variables. So if I take example, if I mention small h and enter caps h equal to 50 maybe, these both are different. And fourth is avoid using Python keywords. If for like if or while a reversed word in Python and you don't want to be use them as a variable name. Sometimes this is going to work, but you don't want to do that because it sometimes result into weird errors. So let's see some example. Let me tell you if this is a valid name. I will just press control forward slash so that it will convert into comments. So I will just take example now. Type 30 age equal to something 18 maybe. So is this correct? No, this is not a valid name because it start with 30 and it is a number. So I said, and it also follows the other rules. Now if you say uh at if you say at age equal to 1, again this is invalid because variable cannot contain special characters other than the underscore. You can have underscore in variable name, but you cannot have any special characters. So if you I take another example, a underscore b underscore c equal to 1, this is a valid because the variable can contains underscore. It's a valid number. So you can have string here, or you can say equal to jack maybe. Yeah, see, you can see that. Just comment this part also. And also, did you notice something? See, if I remove this as comments, if you notice, you can see the red. You can see here, statement must be separated by new lines or semicolon. Variable age is literal 18. So that means visual code is telling that this is an invalid character inside your variable name, so you don't have to include it in your program. So this is about rules of defining variables, and this is example in Python. Okay, now let's move to data types in Python. Now Python supports several built-in data types. What are those built-in data types? We have integers, floaters, strings, booleans, list, tuples, and set and dictionaries. I will just, yeah, data types in Python. I'm going to discuss more about list, tuples, sets, and dictionaries in our future videos. But for now, let's understand what are integer data types, what are floats, what are strings, how booleans are created. Let's get started. So, if you want to create an integer, simply say maybe as I took an example of age equal to 30. So this is an integer. 30 is an integer. So I'm trying to print the age. I will just press Control R. Yes, 30. 30 is printed. That can do similar things with a string variable, and you can say name equal to Jack maybe. I will just name equal to Jack, and I will try to print name as well. So let me just run the program. 30 and Jack is printed, and Jack is string. Let me do one more thing, that is float GPA maybe. Yes, maybe 8.7. 8.7. Let me print GPA also. Let me run this one as well. 8.7. Yes. Let's move to strings done. Yeah. Now move to booleans. What is booleans? Booleans can have only two values. Either it can be true or it can be false. These are the variables types that can be specified whether the task something is done or not. Let us say you have a lot of tasks. You want to mark tasks are pending or completed. So in order to mark one task is completed, you can have something like completed is equal to true. Is underscore completed equal to true. If you see here, the T of true should be caps, and if I take example of false, if the F of false should be caps. So be careful with that. So I'm going to print the same thing now. Print. If you notice here, I will just press I, and maybe the E is completed, right? So I will just print C. You can see that already the Visual Studio giving an hint which we can like we can just select and skip the typing part. Boolean is also printed. There are some features of Visual Code makes life of developer really easy. I will show more features of Visual Code along with these future videos, but for now this is one of the feature that you would definitely want to use. Let us say I want to figure out what kind of variable age is, whether it is an integer, whether it is a string, whether it is a floating number. What exactly is this? So in order to figure out, I can print type of age. How can I do that? To find the types, I will just print maybe type, maybe again parenthesis age, type of age. So I will do the same for the below, for the Jack.
I'll just record that thing, print the name.
So you can see that I have printed an additional command, that is type. So I will just run this. You can see that first one is class int, that means integer. The second one is class str, that is string. Following to that, class float and boolean, that is for the floating point and boolean. Awesome. So this is about variables and data types in Python. Now we'll talk about data types, more about data types in the future videos, but let's have a quick look at them briefly. List. List is the ordered mutable collection, meaning that you can have multiple elements in the list and you can have them in order. Tuples are ordered but immutable collection, which means that you cannot change them. We'll see more about tuples in the later videos. But sets are the collection of unique elements and they are unordered. Dictionaries are the key value pairs. Let us say you want to store marks of different student. You can do that with the help of dictionaries. But don't worry, we'll see all these data types in the later videos. I hope you were able to understand variables and data types. Don't worry about noting down, focus on understanding. Program is not about memorizing, it's about understanding the logic and understanding how things are working. I hope you understood the data types and variables in Python on this video. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching.